welcome to South Asia Today, a show that provides you the glimpses of South Asia. I'm your host Yeshi. Here are the headlines. Overwhelming COVID-19 infections put fresh challenges in South Asia. Massive anti-China protest held in Pakistan, Sindh on birth anniversary of GM Said. And Kashmiri youth getting trained in various skills at rural self-employment training institutes. Let's begin the show. Upsurge in Omicron cases in South Asia is a cause of concern. To fight against the coronavirus pandemic, the governments, health experts and NGOs are working tirelessly and urging the citizens to exercise caution. Today, we'll let you know about the initiatives taken in the wake of mounting cases of Omicron. India has been witnessing an upsurge in infection of the new Omicron variant. More than 18 lakh COVID-19 cases have been reported so far, leading to a gradual increase in hospitalization. Health authorities have been working tirelessly to ramp up facilities for those who have contracted the virus and for those having mild symptoms. Keeping that in mind, the government has already begun booster doses of the COVID-19 vaccine to priority groups amid a surge in infections. Meanwhile, a non-governmental organization in India's southern Bangalore city is providing food to the attendants and relatives of patients who are coming from different parts of the country and staying outside hospitals.
3-4 बड़े-बड़े हॉस्पिटल है तो यहाँ पे मसला क्या है, ये गवर्नमेंट हॉस्पिटल है। यहाँ पे आते हैं एकदम गरीब तबका के लोग जो अपने इलाज के लिए आते हैं, तकरीबन 2 महीना 3 महीना रहते हैं आके। जो पैसा लेके आते हैं सारा बेचारों के पास में वो भी पैसा खत्म हो जाता है। कोई पैसा गांव से मंगाते हैं, अभी बेचारे एक टाइम खाते हैं, दूसरे टाइम खाने के लिए पैसा नहीं रहता। अभी इसमें क्या किया हमने, 6 साल से तकरीबन सुबह में नाश्ता भी दे रहे थे, अभी हम दोपहर का भी खाना दे रहे थे। इसमें क्या है, उन लोगों को सहूलत होगी।
Nepal is also witnessing a surge in coronavirus cases. The health authorities have started giving COVID-19 booster shots to frontline workers. The Health Ministry has said the booster doses will be restricted to frontline workers for 1 week, after which they will be offered to senior citizens. The government has banned large public gatherings and closed schools and colleges until the end of January to curb the infection rate. Even public gatherings like political rallies and religious functions involving more than 25 people have been prohibited. It is also compulsory for people to produce proof of full vaccination to use public services.
Government of Nepal have decided to carry on with the booster dose and starting from today. They have privileged first the frontline workers, that is the hospital staff, and then frontlines like police, traffic, etc. Today in our hospital we are now giving booster dose to our staffs only.
Pakistan banned indoor gatherings in areas with over 10% positivity of COVID-19 cases as part of fresh measures to curb the spread of the virus. The country's health authorities recently announced the completion of a successful clinical trial of Chinese traditional herbal medicine for treating COVID-19.
ये क्योंकि बुनियादी तौर पे कोविड-19 के तमाम पेशेंट्स पे जो ट्राई किया गया था वो डिफरेंट वेरिएंट्स के थे, तो हमारा ख्याल ये है कि ये उतनी इफेक्टिव होगी जितने बाकी वेरिएंट्स पे भी है।
Health experts believe that vaccination will continue to remain the most effective weapon in prevention and spread of COVID-19. Moving on to Pakistan, where a massive demonstration was organized by Sindhi political activists to mark 118th birth anniversary of Sindhi nationalist leader GM Said. The protesters were calling for Pakistan and China to stop exploiting their resources and release all political prisoners. We have this report.
Defying all restrictions, a massive protest was organized by political activists and people of Sindh to mark the 118th birth anniversary of veteran Sindhi national leader GM Said in San town of Pakistan's Sindh province. The activists of JSMM, the J Sindh Muttahida Mahaz, were carrying banners and placards reading various slogans against Pakistan and asked the United Nations to fulfill their demand for the freedom from the country. They also called for Pakistan and China to stop exploiting their resources. The banner said, United Nations, Pakistan is a terrorist state, Sindhi nation wants freedom of Sindhu Desh, and no China, go China. Meanwhile, JSMM chairman Shafi Barfat, who lives in exile in Germany, said the United Nations and the international community have been urged to immediately stop China from building any construction project on the coast of Sindh and end its occupation of the Sindh coast. He further stated the Sindhi nation considers China's presence in Sindhi's territorial waters as China's aggression against Sindh.
साईं GM सैयद जो हमारे फिक्री रहनुमा हैं सिंध की कौमी तहरीक के सिंधु देश मूवमेंट के, उनकी सालगिरह का दिन था और हमारी पार्टी GSN मुत्तहदा महाज ने कल सन शहर में एक बहुत बड़ी रैली निकाली है, सियासी रैली जिसमें हज़ारों की तादाद में सिंध के लोगों ने शिरकत की है। हमारी रैली का मकसद ये था कि चाइना की तरफ से सिंध के साहिली जज़ायर कोस्टल जो हमारे आइसलैंड्स हैं उस पर चाइना ने अपनी कंस्ट्रक्शन करना शुरू की है। चीन वहाँ पर अपनी नेवल बेस बना रहा है।
There are several nationalist parties in Sindh who advocate for a free Sindh nation, calling Pakistan an occupier that continues to exploit its resources. They accused Pakistan of atrocities against innocent Sindhi activists who raised their voices against them.
गवादर से चाइना ने अपने सीपेक के मंसूबों को कराची मुंतकिल किया है। वो गवादर से हटकर कराची आया है। इसको हम समझते हैं कि ये चाइना का सीपेक जो इकोनॉमिकल कॉरिडोर नहीं रहा, अब ये चाइना का स्ट्रेटेजिक कॉरिडोर है और ये नेवल बेस कराची में बनाकर पूरे हमारी ये जो रीजन है उसके अंदर ये रीजन का जो तवाज़ुन है, स्ट्रेटेजिक तवाज़ुन, उसको बिगाड़ना चाहता है।
Every year, the Sindhi nationalist parties organize massive events in Santown on the birth anniversary of GM Sayyid. Sayyid restated the political implementation of Sufi ideologies which advocated for Islamic principles, secularism, Sindhi nationalism, and laid the basis for the Sindhu Desh movement.
Now we take a look at some happenings in Asia in a segment called Asia Watch.
In a bid to make India's eastern Odisha state beggar-free, around 47 destitute people were rehabilitated in Sambalpur city of the region on Wednesday to give them training and make them self-sufficient. A non-profit organization, Odisha Patita Udhar Samiti, is helping in a rehabilitation of the destitute to a center where food and accommodation arrangements have been made for them. We will give different types of training to them, monitor their health, and we will also give them counseling that will give them a new way and make them skilled so that they can think about earning a livelihood, said District Magistrate and Collector Sambalpur, Divyajyoti Parida. Unemployment has been a major reason for many people to turn to beggary as a way to earn a livelihood. While India's economy may be growing faster than ever, so are income inequalities. It still has no comprehensive welfare system to keep millions of people out of desperate poverty. South Korea signed a memorandum of understanding for a $1 billion loan to Egypt, President Moon Jae-in announced during his visit to Cairo on Thursday, January 20. Jae-in discussed with Egypt President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi bilateral relations and strengthening cooperation in transporting, energy and telecommunications. The South Korean president visits come following a Gulf tour that started earlier this week. Ambassador Hong Jin-wook told on Wednesday, January 19, that the loan is expected to be for 5 years. North Korea fired tactical guided missiles on Monday, stated media KCNA said on Tuesday, the latest in a series of recent tests that highlighted its evolving missile programs amid stall denuclearization talks. North Korea's state-run television KRT aired new photographs of what it described as tactical guided missiles fired on Monday, January 17. It's the latest in a series of recent tests that highlight North Korea's evolving missile program. State media KCNA said that tactical guided missiles were fired from the country's west and they precisely hit an island target of the east coast. South Korea's military confirmed that there were two short-range ballistic missiles fired on Monday from an airport in the capital, Pyongyang, and that they flew for just over 200 miles. The missile test was the fourth for the North since the start of the year. Thousands of devotees gathered at the bank of the confluence of holy rivers near capital city of Kathmandu on Saturday at the beginning of Makar Mela, a religious fair. The crowd were comparatively thin because of coronavirus restrictions and fear of rising cases. An estimated 20 to 30,000 people visited the sacred place on the first day of the fair. According to local religious belief, taking a dip into the confluence of Holy River during Makar Mela washes away all sins and cures skin diseases. German frigate Bern arrived at Mumbai port on Friday, January 21 to strengthen Indian-German naval relations. The German ambassador to India, Walter J. Linden, and Maharashtrian politician and minister Aditya Thackeray. The frigate is specialized in submarine hunting and it has previously participated in a lot of missions like Atlanta, the anti-piracy deployment in the Gulf of Aden and surveillance missions to North Korea. The Indo-Pacific region is an internationally important strategic area as 60% of the global trade happens here with 50% of the world population, including some nuclear powers and regional conflicts. Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power station has to inevitably discharge water into the sea, which is treated by advanced liquid processing system. Professor Tadashi Narabayashi is an expert of nuclear engineering who gave insights into the treatment and disposal of water.
溶融したデブリ等にですね触れることによっていろいろな核物質がですね地下水に溶け込んできてます。これらのものはですね科学的な処理をすることによってほぼ問題ないレベルまで取り除くことができてます。いろいろな膜を使ったり薬品処理をしたり、最終的にはこのアルプスという装置で処理をしました。このアルプスで処理したものを処理水というふうに呼んでおります。敷地の中にですね約1000基を超えるタンクがございまして125万立方メーターの汚染水がございます。これは処理してあればトリチウム以外は取り除かれていると。このトリチウムなんですけども例えばですねプールの中に目薬を一滴ポトンと落としたくらいのその濃さなんですね。
Professor Narabayashi introduces one interesting episode about proof of safety. It was undertaken by the students from Taiwan where the import of Fukushima food is banned. The future of Fukushima power station is a matter of global concern. Therefore, decommissioning should be done carefully after referring to the opinions of experts and carefully considering all other similar cases around the world. Tokyo Electric Power Company is taking forward their plan to discharge advanced liquid processing system treated water into the sea from the Fukushima Daiichi nuclear power station in the near future. The water contains tritium which cannot be removed from the water. What effect does this water have on human body? Professor Narabayashi explains it.
かぼちゃは硬い皮には放射能が少なくて黄色くて美味しいところに放射能がたくさんあります。でこれは高感度の放射線検出器で、食べ物野菜をですね、切って撮影するとこういうふうになります。ですから私たちが日常食べている食べ物には放射性物質が含まれている。これによって私たちの体内は、成人男子でだいたい7000ベクレルくらいの、放射能を体内に持っています。でこのくらいの非常に微弱な放射能になりますとがんにはならない。
放射線の影響っていうのはもう濃度に依存してきますから、そういう意味では他の各種の影響は、ほぼ除くことができて、トリチウムの影響だけを 考えればいいという状況に、処理水の段階ではできるというふうに判断をしています。今の自然界にあるトリチウムの総量と比べれば、やっぱり3桁、4桁低い量のトリチウムを放出するかどうかという判断を我々はしたというふうに理解をしています。体の中のトリチウムの量がこの放出によって変わるということは起こり得ないということで、生態的な影響もこのレベルであれば考えられないというふうに理解できるかと思います。
日本人の男性の場合、発がん原因の3割がタバコ、1割がお酒ということになるんですが、例えばですね、毎日タバコ1箱を吸うような方、あるいは毎日3合お酒をたしなまれるような方、この方々は1000ミリシーベルトから2000ミリシーベルト近く被爆していることに相当します。一瞬の被爆としては100ミリシーベルト、原発に事故による被爆のような感情な場合だと200ミリシーベルトくらいにならないと、がんが増えてくるというデータはないということが分かっています。
The experts argue that discharging ALPS treated water into the sea is safe. The correct path toward decommissioning is establishing mutual understanding among stakeholders to impart correct knowledge regarding waste management.
Nepal is celebrating a month-long Swasthini Brat Katha festival. Hindu devotees are gathering at Salinadi river to take a holy dip. The annual event is devoted to fasting, holy bath and reading of sacred texts. Let's have a look.
Braving winter chills, scores of Hindu women devotees dressed in maroon outfits gathered at the banks of Salandi river to take holy dips and offer prayers as part of rituals to mark Swasthini Brata Katha festival with religious fervour. The month-long festival is marked by fasting, holy bathing and reading sacred texts, especially by women for their family's welfare or for getting a good spouse. During the festival, devotees recite one chapter out of 31 lessons a day from the religious books of Swasthini, which comprises stories including folk tales on the creation of the world, Hindu deities and demons.
व्रतको बेला चाहिँ अब शिवलिङ्ग राख्ने, बालुवाको देवता थाप्ने, स्थापना गर्ने, अब हरेक दिन नुहाउने, पूजा गर्ने, कथा सुन्ने, त्यही चोखो खाने.
The sermon recited for a month also mentions the goddess Parvati prayed to goddess Swasthini to become Lord Shiva's wife, because of which unmarried women also observe fast praying to get a suitable groom. The married men too pray for their well-being and progress of their spouses and children. In this ritual, devotees who observe fast during the festival do not eat foods cooked by others. They only eat rice, sugar, peas amongst the food that are considered sacred.
हामीले यसलाई मेलाको रूपमा नबनाऊ, मात्र माधव नारायण व्रतको रूपमा चाहिँ हामीले सञ्चालन गरिराखेका छौं र यसमा चाहिँ हामी प्रत्येक दिनको नित्य पूजा र माधव नारायण व्रत चाहिँ सुचारू रूपले सञ्चालन गर्छौं.
According to the Hindu mythology, the Swasthini book mainly tells the story of Lord Shiva and goddess Parvati that is described in the Skanda Purana. The scripture also has a section that states about the start of observing fast, which brought in prosperity and happiness, and mentions about Salandi, which is also the reason for the people to flock to a particular place to observe the fast. On the final day of the fasting, all the offering maids to different gods are immersed in the river.
Moving on, it is said that the youth are a major driving force towards development and prosperity of any nation. With proper training and guidance, the young workforce can turn out to be the most valuable resource. In India's Jammu and Kashmir, the administration is imparting training to youngsters in various skill development courses. Take a look.
Skill development is a vital tool to empower people, to safeguard their future and for the overall development of an individual. Moreover, being an important aspect that enhances employability in today's globalization, providing training to youngsters in skill development courses can really do wonders for the nation's progress. In Jammu and Kashmir, several rural self-employment training institutes or RCTs have been established across the territory to train youngsters in their respective courses. One among them is in Kulgam, where scores of girls are getting trained in various trades like cutting, tailoring, fashion designing, makeup, and many more. Operational since 2011, the institute imparts training to around 300 girls every year. The director of RCT Kulgam says that our motive is not just help the candidates seek employment, but generate employment as well.
मेन पर्पस यहाँ यही है गवर्नमेंट की इंडिया की तरफ से कि ये हमारे गाँव की बच्चियाँ जो है ये बच्चे हैं पढ़े लिखे बच्चे हैं वो सेल्फ डिपेंडेंट बने, वो किसी के सहारे ना जिए बल्कि वो सहारा अपने लिए खुद तलाश करे। उसके लिए उन्होंने ये इदारा कायम किया है जिसका नाम है रूरल सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयमेंट ट्रेनिंग इंस्टीट्यूट। यही तो हमारा मकसद है कि उनको हम सिखाते हैं कि आप बेटा एंटरप्रेन्योर बने। सेल्फ एम्प्लॉयमेंट नॉट ओनली द स्कोप बट आल्सो दे शुड जनरेट द एम्प्लॉयमेंट।
Recently, a valedictory function was held at the institute wherein certificates were distributed among the candidates who have successfully completed their training. This certificate issued by an RCT will help them avail credit linkage assistance by the banks to start their own entrepreneurial ventures. The trainees appreciated the institute's endeavors to keep them abreast of latest processes and technologies and help them become self-reliant.
मैंने 2020 से यहाँ पे ट्रेनिंग ली है, तो उसके साथ साथ ट्रेनिंग के साथ साथ यहाँ पे हमें स्किल्स भी दिए जाते हैं और हमें यहाँ पे सिखाया भी जाता है, नॉलेज भी प्रोवाइड की जाती है कि कैसे हम मार्केट में अपना बिजनेस स्टैंड करें। तो यहाँ से हमें बहुत फ़ायदा मिलता है। जेके आरसीटी ने जो भी मतलब यहाँ से मतलब हमें ये किया है प्रोवाइड, ये इनिशिएटिव जो प्रोवाइड किया है, इसकी वजह से बहुत सारी लड़कियाँ इंडिपेंडेंट हो रही है। जैसे कि हम फैमिली पर डिपेंडेंट होते हैं अपने पैसों के लिए, अपने डेली नीड्स के लिए, तो उस हिसाब से हम वहाँ से इंडिपेंडेंट हो गए हैं। तो मैंने यहाँ से अभी हमें एक सूरत यहाँ से एक रिसोर्स भी मिलता है यहाँ से कि हमें लोन मिल सकता है, हम यहाँ से लोन निकाल सकते हैं, तो ताकि हम अपना इनिशिएटिव यहाँ से मतलब स्टार्ट कर सकते हैं।
Managed by banks with an active cooperation from the Government of India and state governments, RCTs are established under an initiative of Ministry of Rural Development. One RCT is in every district of the country and offers free and intensive short-term courses to ensure necessary skill training and skill upgradation of the youth. Once the youngsters get trained here, they will be free to access any scheduled bank for a loan or credit.
यहाँ तो सब कुछ फ्री में। जब मैं यहाँ आई हूँ तो कुछ भी फॉर्म के लिए जो भी यहाँ पे फॉर्मेलिटीज़ थी फॉर्म के रिलेटेड कुछ भी हमें पैसे वैसे कुछ भी नहीं, और साथ ही यहाँ पे ये जो फूड हमें फ्री में मिलता है। और जो ये मुझे इन्फॉर्मेशन कहाँ से मिली है, मेरी एक फ्रेंड है वो यहाँ पे थी, तो उसी ने मुझे बोला कि बहुत अच्छा वहाँ पे जो ट्रेनर है हमारी निगहत में बहुत ज़्यादा अच्छी है, तो फिर मैं यहाँ आई हूँ इस ट्रेनिंग के लिए। जो यहाँ हमारे टीचर है डायरेक्टर साहब, उन्होंने बोला है कि अगर आपको कुछ लोन्स भी चाहिए, अगर आप आगे कंटिन्यू करना चाहते हैं अपना बिजनेस, अपने मतलब कदमों पे स्टैंड होना चाहते हो, तो आपको मिलेगा लोन यहाँ पे जितना आप चाहो मतलब।
Skill development is considered one of the critical aspects for job creation in India. Such initiatives will go a long way in giving a push to entrepreneurial culture in the country.
It is time for me to wrap up today's episode. We will be back next week at the same time. This is Yeshi signing off on behalf of the entire production team of South Asia Today. Goodbye and take care.